Hey y'all, welcome back to let's try that again. Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel, Love Yasmin XO. It's your girl Yasmin, aka Love Yasmin XO, on all social medias, Twitter and Instagram. Follow your girl, you know what I'm saying? If you can tell by the title, today's topic is going to be how to get over a breakup or a heartbreak, whatever I decided to put in the title, but that's the gist. So I was trying to like do this video by like giving you a step, like step one is, and it just wasn't working for me. I really just want to have a conversation. It really give you some of my like personal things that I went through dealing with it, and hopefully that it'll be helpful to others who are going through the same thing, or who are still dealing with trying to get over a breakup or their first heartbreak. So a little backstory about my love life and relationship life. I've only been in 2 relationships my whole life. I'm 22 years old. My first relationship, it wasn't really serious at all. Like we were committed to one another, but it was like my senior year of high school. It was very casual. Like we were just chilling and we broke up. I broke up with him when I went to college in the summer. He had a lot of personal things going on and we weren't gonna be able to talk anyway. And I just let it go and actually reconnected with him a couple of months ago. So he's real cool. My second relationship was my first and only serious relationship thus far. I started dating that person my sophomore year of college. We broke up my junior year of college, and we didn't officially, like, I guess, end things into my senior year of college. So my predominantly of my college career or time was dealt with that one person. And with that being said, with me not having any prior experience to really relationships and how they work, and like never being in love before, and never, it never just being like that, the breakup was really like hard for me. I broke up with that person, and I don't want to get into details as to why we broke up. I just don't feel like that's something that I want to put out there. Like, if you know, you know. But I'm just not ready to put it out there right now, because I don't ever want anything to be seemed as though it's coming from a malicious point or a revengeful point, or just from a point of anger, because it's not at all. I just feel like this is something that I dealt with, and especially through like my college time and being so young, and I want to share with others to hopefully help someone else who was going through the same thing. So as far as like why and this, that, and the third, I mean, if you're close enough to know me and you know why, then that's fine. But that's it. And that's all I'm gonna say about that on that. This video is about me and how I dealt with it, not about the actual relationship or about that person. And so if I decide later on to make more videos about that, then I will. But as of right now, that's where I stand, and that could change next week. But yeah, that's just a small disclaimer. So yeah, so I was very like distressed, very just like heartbroken. I had never felt something like that ever in my life. And I'm the girl that in high school, when girls would like be in breakups and they would be like crying and they would just be like, I'll never love again, and they were like heartbroken, I used to make fun of them girls. When I say I used to get on a behind, I used to be cracking up like, you're dumb. Like, how dare you let a man ever, or a boy, because they ain't men, how dare you let a boy make you feel that way? I used to get on a behind. And karma, because I was just like them girls in high school. I was in bed for like a week straight crying, like, I ain't gonna never live again. It hurts. And my mom used to come in my room like, please get out the room. Please get out your bed. And I used to be like, Mom, my life is over. I ain't gonna never get married. I ain't gonna never have kids. And she was like, Yasmin, you're 21. Get it together. So it really hit me very hard. Like, I was like, wow. I see how people have like trauma and like are scared to get into relationships, because that pain right there, like that feeling, where my heart is over here, wherever it is. I'm the one with the college degree. I don't know what my heart is. That pain right there, like, it's just like, oh, it was strong. And it took me a while and like, this is something that's like recent for me to like really accept and like move on. So this is 2019. We broke up in April of 2018. So it's been a year and some change later. And even though we broke up, we were still like in that situational stage for a while. And then it was just like, all right, that's it. So it took a very long time. And I feel like that's one thing that if I can tell someone else that I wish I did not do, was that if you're going to break up with someone and it's for a good reason, you are heartbroken, this, and the third, like, then break up with that person and try your hardest to leave them alone. Because I feel like it made it so much harder in the end when we officially cut everything off, because we have prolonged this breakup for a very long time, and it creates a lot of issues, a lot of situations, a lot of conversations, a lot of arguments that don't need to happen. Because when you go from being in a relationship to a situationship, and y'all know those are real, it's that line and that boundary of what you can and cannot do, what you can and cannot say. Like, you're single, but you're still messing with someone who you were in a relationship with. And so it's like, oh, I'm single, I can do what I want to do. But when that person does what they want to do, now you're in your feelings. And so that's one thing that I would really, and that's the first thing, like, if you're gonna break up, if you've had a discussion with that person, that's it, like, y'all are done, then be done. And it's easier said than done, extremely easier said than done, because I told myself numerous times that I was done and I wasn't done. So really just be done and mean that, and do what you have to do so that you are done. Because the longer you continue that situationship, it's all those issues from the relationship and the reason why y'all broke up are not being addressed. You're not dealing with the inner issues that you're going through. And so, yeah, so like, because situationships, they suck, because you don't, there are no rules, there are no boundaries. At the end of the day, you're single, so you can do what you want to do, but you're not gonna do what you want to do, or one person's gonna do what they want to do, another person's gonna be jealous, there's arguments, like, it's just messy, and so messy, and it's just something that you just don't want to do. Like, it's really toxic. A situationship after a relationship is toxic. It's toxic. So let it go, sis, because we don't need no toxicities, no toxicness in our life. Okay. So yeah, so that was one thing. And then also I had to deal with a lot of issues that became in myself. And that's one thing that I was not prepared for, was now, because of this, I'm like, what's wrong with me? Like, am I ever gonna be able to be loved? Am I ever able to be just that and the third? Like, is the problem me? And not everyone feels that way. Some people break up and they move on with their life and they're carefree and they let it go. I wasn't blessed to be like that, okay? I really sat and pondered on, like, okay, like, is this my fault? Is this me? Like, what's wrong with me? And even though I knew the reason for the breakup was not my fault, it's just the fact that it's like I somehow had to find a way to put the blame on myself. And that's really just dealing with your own inner insecurities and learning how to love yourself. And that's really where the self-love part came in for me, is because I had to really sit down and talk to myself and really just be like, all right, Yas, like, you need to let this go. You need to let this go, and you need to move on, and you need to just worry about yourself. And it's easier said than done. Like I said, it's extremely easier said than done. It took a lot for me to get to that point where I was just like, what happened happened. You can't change it, move on. And I don't think I was able to get to that point until I was able to really let go of what happened and to accept it and to forgive myself and to forgive that person. And like all of this, I want you to understand that everything that I'm talking about is not something that I've mastered. It's not something that will happen in a day, a week, a month. Like, it takes time. Getting over and dealing with your issues after a breakup takes time. And so if you're thinking this is going to be a quick thing that's gonna happen, and that's what I thought. I thought I was gonna break up, I was gonna be sad for a couple weeks, and then I was gonna be good. It didn't work like that, especially because of the whole situationship thing. And so really take time, sit down and talk to yourself. If you have someone that you trust and confide in that's gonna be unbiased, talk to them. I wouldn't talk to multiple people about what happened and what you're feeling, just because like I love my friends and I talk to numerous of my friends, but all of my friends are pretty much mutual friends. And so it just made the situation just like weird. And then it comes to a point where it's like, now it's like every time you feel something, you're venting to this person, and they have their own issues, they have their own problems, they're dealing with their own breakups, their own relationship issues, their own situation issues. And so it's like, I wouldn't just be like, okay, let me talk to you about this. Like, I would try to deal with a lot of things in my head. Not even in my head, but like to myself. I would journal. I would, if you want to just feel like you need to talk to someone, I have voice memos of me just talking and me just figuring stuff out. So it's like, really just focus on yourself, focus on your life without that person. It's very easy to get into routines, and especially when you've been with someone for a very long time, you're in a set routine. Especially when you're in college, like you're used to seeing that person this and that time, you know, like you're very used to this everyday routine. So it got to a point where it's like, now that routine's gone. So what do? Like, dang, I know that at 4 that person's out of practice, so they'll be in my room by 4:15. You know what I'm saying? We gonna go eat at the caf at 5:30, and then we gonna come back and do homework until the, you know, it's like your mind is set, your body is set into this habit, and you have to break this habit. And that was really the hardest part for me, was breaking the habit. The habit of what I've been used to doing for 2 years. Like, it was just extremely hard for me to just break this habit and break this routine of, you know, at this time we do this, or I'm gonna do this. Like, you're like, people are routine and make habits by nature. And so that was just very hard for me. That was one of the hardest parts. And so I had to break that habit, and I had to start creating distractions and habits for myself. If you were used to anything like at a certain time, then try something else to put in that time slot. Do something else in that time spot, so that before you notice, you're like, oh, dang, like, oh, I didn't even realize that. And your body is getting to the habit of something else that's beneficial to yourself. So if you know that at 4:30, y'all would meet up in your room, at 4:15, why don't you start journaling? Why don't you, you know, give yourself an hour of a Netflix show to watch at a certain time? Why don't you go to the caf early? Like, just do little things to distract yourself, and don't be afraid to like deal with yourself and to talk to yourself. That was one of my biggest things, is like, I'm tired of feeling sad. I feel goofy. I feel this, that, and the third. Like, putting on this mask that like I was over it, and I was, you know what I'm saying, forget this, forget that. Like, I don't care. Like, you do care. So it's, you sad, your heart broke. It's okay. Like, accept it, deal with it, and move on. If I had to give you any steps, it's accept what happened, deal with what happens in yourself, and move on. And that's really just all I can tell y'all. It's just like, you have to accept what happened. And that was the hardest part for me. One of the hardest parts. I had a lot of hard parts, okay? Was accepting what happened and dealing with myself, and then moving on to love myself again. And especially, it's like, when, I don't know about anyone else, but in my particular situation, I think I've stated earlier, like, we have mutual friends, we go to a very small school. So it was very hard to move on, because it's like, this has been my routine. This has been, my life didn't come from just Yaz. It's Yaz and this person now. It had been that way for so long. So now it's like, it's just Yaz. Like, it's just me. Now it's just me. Now it's just me. I have to focus on just myself. Like, it's just me now. And so I hope that helped anyone. I hope that I was able to give y'all some tips and tricks, and just by sharing my story, that's all I can do. That's all I really want my platform to do, is to share my experiences, share my story with you, and hope that you learn something from what I've dealt with, what I've gone through, and what I'm able to share. I'm not a expert in anything. I'm not able to tell you exactly what to do. Me sharing my experiences is all I am an expert in, because I lived it. You know what I'm saying? So I hope that helped. Please comment below thoughts, comments, questions, concerns. If you have experienced anything like that and you did anything similar to what I've done, please let me know. Please send me topics that y'all want me to talk about. And I hope y'all have a blessed day. I have to go to work, sadly, but y'all be blessed. Don't be stressed, okay? Nevertheless, okay. Yes, ma'am. But y'all have a blessed day, and I'll talk to y'all later.